Before we dive into today's episode, we want to remind you that the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and guests and for educational and entertaining purposes. The Professional Homegirl podcast is here to celebrate the diverse voices, stories, and experiences of women of color, providing a platform for authentic and empowering conversations. There will be some 𝐾𝐿, some tears, but most importantly, a reminder that tough times don't last, but professional homegirls do. Enjoy the show. Sex parties have a history dating back to the sexual liberation movement in the 1970s and 1980s, during which they began to gain popularity. While these events can take on different forms, they often involve an environment that promotes openness, exploration, and sexual expression. Our guest will share her personal experience and insights on attending sex parties. It is important to remember that participation in these events should always be consensual, safe, and legal, because I don't need nobody saying that the professional homegirl says it's okay to do this or to do that. So, to my guests, how are you doing?
I am good. How are you?
All is well. All is cute. I can't complain. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you.
I'm excited as well. I love your all is cute. I'm all cute too.
Okay, it's all about the cuteness, okay? Keeping it cute, y'all. Now, please describe what a sex party is and how it works.
So a sex party or a play party is basically when a lot of open-minded, free-thinking individuals come together for the purposes of I want to say that it's for the purpose of like networking and meeting other people with like similar interests.
Mm-hmm.
And during these parties, people might, you might meet a new partner, you might engage yourself with some partners, maybe you just watch. The way that it looks often varies depending on who you are.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I want to say it's like a networking event for people with, same interests, sexual interests.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, when you say networking, are you talking about like
not business? Not, I mean, but that happens too. Like,
well, that could happen, yeah.
Yeah. But I guess the main purpose is sexual interest.
Okay. Now, do you think sex parties are still taboo? And if so, why?
So I want to say 50-50 on this, because I do believe that in this era, people are like more open with their sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
What I've also noticed is that people are more interested in sex parties. Like they want to go. They're like, I don't know. I feel like it's much less taboo than it has been in the past, but it still is taboo.
I feel like in New York, it's very common.
Right. And so that's why I'm like, I don't know if this is just because I'm a New Yorker. So it's just like,
right.
These things, like, I don't know. I feel like I get invited to one of these things damn near every week at this point.
Right. And I feel
and
like
it's not even, yeah, but it's
right.
like, it's not even people that I be knowing. Like, it'd be random motherfuckers. I'd be like, what is happening? Like, do I have sex party participant? Yes, girl. I was in a whole nother country and people was asking. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I was in another country and people were like approaching me, asking me. So that's why I think it's less taboo, because it's just like,
mm-hmm.
I wasn't doing anything particularly like, I don't know. I wasn't doing anything at all that screamed like, oh, let me invite this person to a play party.
Right. Now, are there different types of sex parties? And if so, which ones do you go to?
I'm actually not sure if there's different kinds. The different kinds that I know, I call them the safe ones and the unsafe ones.
Okay.
I prefer the safe ones. And when I say there's safe ones and unsafe ones, I feel like some of them they have where there's less rules. And by rules, I mean like you don't have to get like checked beforehand, or there's not like condoms available on
that sounds like Russian roulette, child.
Right. So like those I call the unsafe ones. But then there's the opposite where you're getting checked beforehand. I've seen ones where you have to get background checked. Like that one was like,
I heard of those, yeah.
Yeah, that one was like they were on it. But I also it's much more of a pleasurable experience knowing that like all these things are available and that that everyone went through a process,
mm-hmm.
And that everyone in the room, is safe, because not everyone has those conversations. Not everyone's comfortable with asking people of their status and things of that nature. So I don't know. To me, it's more comfortable. But I guess now that I'm talking about it and thinking about it, there's also like impromptu shit. Because I like to host events a lot, and I've noticed that some of my like regular vanilla events have
Hmm.
turned, a little wild or spicy
Wait,
at
you
the end of
host
the night.
events?
I do. So I don't host play parties. But I do host game nights. I used to do game nights like throughout the city. Um, and then some of my game nights would get a little wild at the end, just
Wow,
because
you
I
learn
guess it's
something new every day on the Professional Homegirl podcast. I've been knowing this girl for I don't know how long. Wow. But go ahead, sis. Learn something new
no,
every day.
I think it's just my personality. I feel like I make people feel like very comfortable.
Hmm.
So I don't know, this should just be happening. And
But
you
I
know,
also feel like with the safe parties, it brings out a certain crowd. Because I feel like when you have less restrictions and rules, it brings out a whole different type of crowd that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are kind of like, eh.
it's true. So I've noticed the ones with a lot of rules and like a lot of things that you need to do beforehand, it's often a professional crowd.
Hmm.
Like those are the parties where I'm usually around doctors, lawyers, people from Wall Street. Like those are how those usually come out. And the ones that are kind of like not just easy breezy, like let's see
Right.
what's gonna go down. Those are usually like someone might get into like a big heated argument, or somebody may want
Oh,
to fight someone.
nah.
That doesn't happen often.
Ain't got time for that, child.
Right, right. That part. But it doesn't happen often. But I will say that I've seen that more at one of those parties than one that was, more organized.
Mm. Now, have you noticed any changes in the sex party scenes since you've been going? And if so, what are they?
Um, Not really. I think no, not really. It's still no phones. Like I haven't been to anywhere phones have been allowed. It's still be respectful. It's still always ask for consent.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, no, I haven't really seen a big difference, but I also haven't been doing these for a really long time. I want to say maybe 3, 4 years. It's only
Well,
been like four
that's a
years.
good enough time.
Really? Oh, well, it's
Yeah.
been the same for the 4 years that I've been involved.
Now, how were you introduced to these parties?
Girl. So my man, bless that man's heart. So one day, this fine young man decides to tell me that like, yo, we're gonna go to a party. I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, like whatever, we're going to a
And you
party.
with the okey doke.
Right. I'm just like, okay. And then the outfits he got us was like, we had like this matching outfit. It was a Halloween party.
Hmm.
So we have this matching outfit. Mind you, I will disclaimer, I have been I have been a part of a lot of like group sex type
Hmm.
things. So like a bunch of people in the room having sex at the same time. So I've
So like
had
an
experience
orgy.
with those. I guess, but we didn't switch partners. Nobody was
Mm, okay.
switching partners. It was just I've been in rooms with like 5 couples having sex at one time.
And you're
Uh,
having sex too?
mhm.
Okay.
I've had people like watch me have sex. So I just wanted to pre-note that I've already had those experiences, just so people don't be like, damn, yeah, man, he set you up.
Right.
So, and he was aware of this. He was aware that I've
Hmm.
been in these type of situations. So, anyways, fast forward or whatever. So it's a Halloween party. He's like, yeah, we're
Hmm.
going to the party. Da, da, da. Our outfits are a little sexy. And I'm just like, whatever, it's Halloween. Like, I'm not thinking too much of it.
Right.
And we drive hours. It was probably like a 2 hour drive.
Oh,
So,
wow.
right.
Like
But I
upstate?
trust this man. Not upstate. It was Yonkers at the time.
Okay. Yeah, it's about 2 hours.
So go to Yonkers, whatever. We get to the front door. He rings the bell or whatever. And he looks at me and he says, I just met these people last week. Like, I don't know, I don't know whose crib we at. So that was the first, like, what is happening? And then before I could even say anything, the couple opens the door.
Right.
And it was funny too, because the couple opens the door and they have like the same outfit that we have on. So that was funny. So
It's giving
um
swingers.
girl, so we go in. So like
Hmm.
party, I'm from the city. Like I've been to a bunch of parties. Parties is usually a bunch of different people. You're gonna see singles, you're gonna see couples, you're gonna see a bunch of different stuff.
Right. It's a party.
it's a party. And this man told me that we were going to a party.
Right.
I walk in, it's nothing but couples.
Mm-hmm.
So I sit down, I look at him, I'm like, I'm whispering, I'm like, where are we? And he was like, I think this might be a swingers party. Like, this is like, he's whispering back. He was like, I think we're in a swingers party. I said, what's our rules? He said, what's your rules? I said, no rules. And he was like, I bet no rules. So
okay, come on, little meow.
girl, and communication is important. Like if you ever go to one of these things and you go with your partner, communication is very, very important. Like you need to figure out those rules,
right? Which we're going to
so
talk about later, because I feel like when you do go with your partner, it can go good,
it could go
or it can
left.
go left
Yes,
real quick.
y'all could have
right?
a whole lot of fun, or y'all could be arguing on the way back home. So
Right.
you want to have a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so whatever. So we playing games or whatever, but it's not, no freaky shit is happening. Like it's real regular.
Mm-hmm.
Then at some point of the night, the host is like, okay, this is part two. Like, I'm like, part two? I'm like, what is happening? He was like, the games are going to get a little more risque. Like, if you're not comfortable, please let us know. If you would like to leave now, like you can leave, or you can stay, you could just watch. You don't like, he's like explaining all the rules. Like, you don't have to participate. If you don't have to participate, please check in with your partners. Before touching anyone, please ask for their permission, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So now I'm like, okay, like I have never been in like an environment where like it was so structured.
Mm-hmm.
So then yeah, so that's happening. We start playing, I believe we started playing like Truth or Dare. Oh, we started playing Truth or Dare with like Jenga blocks or whatever. So now people are getting lap dances, people are just doing a bunch of stuff. But it wasn't, I think that party was like an introductory party because
Mm-hmm.
people wasn't really getting into it. My little freaky ass. I started giving, so at one point like a girl had was sucking on my breast or whatever. That was like one of the dares. And then eventually, like, so now I'm aroused, right? So
Right.
this girl did this to me. So I had so now I'm like sitting with my man or whatever, and I just start giving him head.
Your
Because everybody
boyfriend.
was, yeah, my boyfriend. Because everyone else was kind of like doing their own thing. I'm like,
You was
nobody really
probably putting
watching
on.
me.
You was probably putting on a show, baby.
Girl, so then my boyfriend like taps me like to stop because like the host was like staring, like boom, staring at us or whatever. So he's like tapping me, and it was his first time, like period, ever doing anything like this. So like
Mm-hmm.
I've had these like I guess unstructured experiences, but he's never like done anything like this. Um, so he was just like stop, 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 or whatever the case is.
Was he
And then
uncomfortable or like nervous or?
I guess he just didn't want someone staring at me. Like he's very protective over me. So I guess he
Mhm.
was just like fine in the moment, but he was like, okay, like now stop because someone's staring at you.
Right.
But then that night though, we didn't play with anyone really. Like we did have interactions with this one girl. Like we kissed, she sucked on my breast,
Mm-hmm.
I touched on her. But by the time people were like starting to like get into rooms and stuff, we left.
Y'all wasn't feeling it.
Not that we weren't feeling it, we just like, okay, like we're done.
Right. Right.
So that's what I often tell people. I'm like, you can be like very experienced. Like you can go to these things all the time and just decide that you don't feel like having sex that day.
Right.
Like maybe you just wanted to talk to people, maybe you just wanted to meet people.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last one I went to, I was like that. I was just like, oh, I'm not really interested in like partying today. Like I just wanted to talk, mingle, and then like we played a little bit, but not in the sense that we had like intercourse with it, like actual like penetration intercourse with
Right.
it.
So how do
Um,
you decide whether or not to attend one? Like, are you like selective when it comes to certain play parties, or like do you go to them a lot?
I wouldn't say a lot. I would say maybe once a month. Sometimes I skip a month. It's really whenever they pop up and I get invited to one.
Mm-hmm.
One actually, I got invited one that's coming up this Friday, but we're not going. Just because we're not in the best of space. Um,
Good
but
Friday?
hey, good Friday.
Yo, bitches ain't shit.
I didn't even realize that they planned it for Good Friday.
Listen,
That's
don't even get me
terrible.
started. The time is going by so fast. I didn't even know it was Easter, child.
Girl, I was surprised because once Passover today, yet tomorrow, who knows? Whatever.
Right.
All these holidays. But what you gonna call it? I feel like I typically go because everyone who invites me, I have like strangers who invite me or people who I just met who invite me, but the ones I typically go to, I feel like I've known the people for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm comfortable. I'll be like, okay, whatever. I just show
And
up.
how do they invite you? Like they tell you and give you a link or like,
It'd be evites.
okay.
Yeah, it'd be regular evites or just be like a text, oh hey, we're doing this. Typically like I'll get like a text beforehand
Mm-hmm.
because some people like to like pair the people who are going to be there. Not pair them, but like they want like one time I went to one, he wanted like more like profession, like people in the professional field there. So he had like only asked people who like were in a certain field.
Mm-hmm.
One time I know they wanted mostly singles, like they wanted mostly singles, or like the first time that I ever went to, they did all people who have never like experienced that. So it was their first time experiencing it. And then he had a couple of experienced people to kind of like just teach people or talk to them and explain stuff. Then I've been
Oh,
invited
he
to one.
sounds like he's very like
Yeah,
hands on with it.
he like he plans them out. Like he really thinks about stuff. He thinks about people's personality. Because he also does sometimes people personalities just clash.
Right.
So he keeps that in mind as well. He also takes like so when I go to play parties, I typically only mess with women. So he also keeps stuff like that in mind. Like he has to balance that out because there's at least one woman who's not going to be participating with guys. So
Right.
like it's a bunch of different stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now, how do you approach safe sex practices such as condom use and regular testing?
So I'm paranoid.
Right.
No, because my friends make fun of me because like one time I got tested like damn near every other week, and it was just like, that's pointless, right? And I was just like, I don't care.
Yeah, because that shit not gonna show up, child. It takes a little minute for something to show up.
That's what people would tell me. I just be like, well, I don't care because I have to make sure that I'm safe. So it's funny. So I've grown up. I've stopped doing that. Um, but I'm gonna be honest with girls, like I've never used like dental dam or anything like that.
Ask you like, I mean, I've never been with a girl before, but I feel like with girls, like, do girls really use protection?
I, in my opinion, no. Like I've never in all my living years, I have
Right.
never seen girls use protection with each other. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing. It's
Right.
not. You could
And
still
I'm not,
catch
and you're
something.
also not saying that all girls don't do this. Some
Yes, and I'm
girls do
also
use protection.
right, but I've never seen it.
Right.
Um, so and then it's so I'm gonna tell you something. Like now that I'm talking to you, I'm gonna say something silly. So like I'll have a girl eat me out or whatever, no protection or whatever. Or I'll eat her out without protection. But then I'll make my boyfriend use a condom to penetrate. But the fluids have already been swapped. Like that's what I'm having this
Yo, bitches are annoying. Now you done ate some box, but you want him to put a condom on. You might as well let him hit that shit raw.
I don't know. In my head, I'm just like, nope, you still still gotta wear one.
But he don't be saying like, oh, you need to put some on your mouth before you eat her out. But what goes on the mouth? Like some
It's a
plastic or something?
dental dam. No, dental dam goes on the vagina.
And you licking it while something like covering it?
Mm-hmm.
But is that the same? Does it feel good?
I've never done it. I wouldn't
Or
know.
because I feel like the contact is so close, so you might as well just do it face to puss.
Girl, I don't know. To me, I've never done it. Maybe I should be doing it. I need to look into it. This conversation has enlightened me.
I mean, we here now. How long you been doing this?
A little
we
too long.
we passed that point, so even though we do promote safe sex, y'all. So
Yes, please. Learn how to use the dental dam, y'all. Learn how to use the dental dam. But we've had like people that we frequent, like we like dated a girl at one point.
Mhm.
Like we didn't use protection with her. Like everyone would just get tested and we would have conversations about
But
it.
she was your girlfriend, right? But she was y'all girlfriend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, like I just with that, I feel like it was the three of us. We knew what we was doing, so we wouldn't use protection. And we've also had a unicorn, like a
Mm-hmm.
girl who like she was like free to do whatever. And she would just keep open communication with us. Like if she was, seeing someone else at the time, or if she started having raw sex with someone, she would just let us know. Um, and we would move from there. So communication's a really, really, really big part of this. Like you just have
Yeah.
to be able to talk to people.
I did an episode with someone, a young lady. She is known as I want to say as the godmother of swingers. And
Hmm.
the conversation was so amazing. It's like deep in the catalog, like I think like episode not a little bit over 100. But she also said the same thing about how communication is very important because even though the body is saying one thing, the person can still be saying no or be feeling uncomfortable or, just to make the situation lighter, especially if this is somebody first time doing it or whatever the case may be. Like communication is like, has been like the number one theme of these conversations when I have conversations about sex. So I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, and it's frequent conversations as well because something that was okay last month might not be okay this month.
Yeah.
And just a lot of factors get into play. Like you might be in a different space, something might have happened. Like so many different things come into play with this, and also like yourself, like as you're growing as a person. Like
Right.
I low key feel like I'm kind of like outgrowing the parties kind of now. Like I don't get as much enjoyment out of them.
Mm.
But
Why
then
is
it's
that?
random, like I'm not sure. I feel like I'm very much in like a settling down phase in my life right now. So it's like I just kind of want to like focus on one thing. But it's not,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to like stop going. And I'm also not saying that just because you're locked in with your partner, that doesn't mean that you can't go to these things and these things make you less than. But I think for me right now in this moment of my life, I just kind of like want to focus on my partner, focus on our goals and kind of figure shit out.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we still talking about going to them. So it's like it's 50-50. Um, but I don't know, it takes time. Like it takes time to
Right.
go to these things. Work has to be put into it. They're often themed. So oftentimes they're the theme. So then you gotta go buy a costume or buy an
Right.
outfit. And if you're one of the girlies who don't like to repeat outfits like me, like you're constantly buying these outfits. So it's a thing. Like it's just another thing on my plate.
Right.
So I think I'm like, do I really want to do this like this weekend? Like,
I
I
mean,
don't
yeah,
know.
that's money.
Right. Like I'm just like, and for
Right.
something that like, I don't know, you can't, I mean, I guess you can't recycle lingerie, but certain things I'm like, nah.
I mean, I don't know if you had a good night in that piece of drawers, baby. I
That's what
might
I'm
not be
saying.
able
I'm
to
like,
recycle those.
right? Like, all right, you see what I mean.
Right. Yeah. After a good night, I just have to throw them away, hang them up.
Like you served your purpose.
Right. So, are drugs and alcohol available at these parties?
Yes. Yes. So typically, but it depends on the party. So I've
Right.
seen parties where there's limits. Like, so if someone feels like you've been drinking too much or taking too many drugs, you have to sit out, or they'll like call you a Uber home or something.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I have seen that, yeah, just
Okay. I
because they
like
don't
that.
want. I love it. I'm telling
Yeah.
the ones where there's lots and lots and lots of rules. Like some people be like, "Oh, isn't it less fun?" No, the fuck it's not. I feel so safe, so
Yeah.
I'm having more fun because I'm so comfortable. Like I'm like, yo, if shit go less, so they have my back. Like I know someone's gonna have my back in this
Right.
place.
You know what's so funny? I wonder if the host is really enjoying themselves because they have to pretty much monitor the party and make sure that everybody is having a good time, but also everybody is safe and everything is consensual.
Hmm. I've seen hosts that I feel like they look stressed. Not that they look stressed, but I can see that they're busy.
Because
Like
that's a big responsibility.
they're checking in on people every 2 seconds. They're making sure people have like enough like I don't know lube or toys or whatever. Like if things are being given out, like they're constantly checking in on people. I've also seen hosts. I guess I maybe it's the more seasoned hosts that
Right.
I've seen like they're kind of more balanced. Like they're able
Mm-hmm.
to play and kind of still watch the room. They'll tap into other people to also watch the room. So there'll be like several people that you can go to.
Mm-hmm.
um those are a little bit, yeah, those are the comfy ones too when there's multiple kind of like multiple hosts. Because you don't just have to go to this one person and you feel like you're bothering someone. So
Yeah, imagine you fucking a host and you about to bust a nut and the nigga stop because he sees some shit that's about to pop out. You be like, what the fuck? Could you imagine?
I've never seen that, but I would be so upset if I was
like you almost at the peak, like, and the nigga like, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Hold on. I see some non-consensual action over there.
Oh my god. So wait, are the people that are attractive?
So 50-50, sis.
Right.
So I've been to ones where I wasn't attracted to not a damn soul. I've also so this I feel like I've seen is a fucking trend. No shade to nobody, but I feel like
all
a
shade,
lot
all tea.
no. But I've noticed like sometimes I'm the youngest person in the room. Like it's a lot of like older people. I don't, and like just to me, they're not that
Don't be
attractive.
an
But
ageist now.
I mean,
what do you mean by older? Like,
I don't. So like,
because you're in your 30s.
yeah, I'm in my 30s. I want to say like they'd be like 50s.
Mm,
Yeah, they would be like 50s or late 40s.
mm,
Yeah, or mid 40s. But remember, I started going to these in my mid 20s.
right.
So mid 20s going or being around people that's in their mid 40s. I'm like, oh, y'all old. Like
And they're not attractive?
some of them. So I'm like, I know I'm attracted to like one host's wife. Like she's a little baddie.
Mm-hmm.
But then everybody else, I'd be like, yeah, like I'm not interested.
How do they come?
Um,
Like, because I feel like if I was going to one of these parties, like, I'm gonna come on point. Like, I
so
gotta be the baddest bitch in the room when I step in. Like, do they
uh,
put effort into themselves, or it just
they
be like a
definitely no, they definitely put effort into themselves. I've never seen like someone who dressed sloppy. Like everyone,
okay,
yeah. Like people be having like they makeup on or like
okay,
some people be barefaced too. So I've been to like extravagant like play parties where people like are done to the T, and I've also seen like people who like, you know, barefaced or whatever, comfortable, but they still look like very presentable.
right.
Yeah. But I don't know, I just don't be attracted all the time. But then I have been to parties where it's like nothing but like just beautiful people like all around. But I want to say more often than not, I find myself in parties where people aren't that attractive.
Mm. I know you be
Yeah.
tight.
I do be tight because I'll be looking at my man and I'll be like, why are we here?
So you won't mess with any men, only women.
Only women, yeah.
But why not men?
I'm very much like my man is my man.
Right.
So, and that's like the only penis I want.
Hmm.
Have I thought about it? Yes, but I've never, I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. Like I can't imagine double penetration, so I can't imagine like a threesome with another guy. Um,
Right.
I also, and then I just can't imagine like being with a guy outside of my partner.
Hmm.
Um, and then I'm just like wildly attracted to women, but I'm not in a relationship with a woman. So like
Hmm.
let's say my partner with a woman, I probably wouldn't be dealing with women. I probably would deal with a man, like at the parties.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
I
So,
guess I just don't double dip on the same on what I already have.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I understand. So, what kind of conversations do you typically have with other participants before engaging in sexual activity? Like, do you do small talk with the bitch or like,
Yeah, it depends. Like,
or y'all just get things popping? You know, she opened a leg up.
right. So, so funny enough, I feel like I typically have conversations with people I'm not going to play with. Like,
Hmm.
but I might still find them attractive, but like, I don't know. I just rap. Sometimes conversation is very stimulating for me.
Right.
So,
Because you know you deep,
that
child.
I am a little deep. Like, we can have like a whole conversation on like crystals and sage and like all this other stuff. Talking about like voodoo in Haiti. Like I have a
Remember
whole
when we first met? We was on the phone for like, I think 2 hours talking about some of the deepest
right.
shit. We were talking about selling souls and
Yes,
shit.
we sure were. I will really because that stimulates me. Like that really
Right.
stimulates me. So then I could do that. But then like I remember like the last party I went to. Like, I just walked up to her and I was like, "Can I kiss you?" And she was like, "Yes." And then I kissed her, and then we just started, but we had no conversation, like none.
And you was
Like,
attracted to her, like you liked her?
yeah, I liked her. I liked her. Like, she was like Amazonian. Like, she was mad tall. Like,
Was she pretty?
yeah, she was decent. I'm not good. She wasn't like, but it was
Don't be
the
trying to flex on the show now. Come on now.
no, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm really not. I'm really not. But so I tell people this all the time. I'm less attracted to like physical appearance and more attracted to like confidence. So like when she walked into the room, her
She owned it.
presence, yes. Oh
Yeah.
my God, that turned me on so. Oh my God.
Clearly, I can tell. You need a napkin, sis?
Sorry. I'm thinking about it.
I can tell. Yeah, she get a little flustered. But she was with us. I gave you end up kissing her.
We ended up kissing. She ended up giving me like a lap dance.
Okay.
We sucked on each other's breasts. She like played with my vagina, pussy, whatever. She ended up like eating me out. It was a time, but we didn't really talk. Like I didn't get her number at the end. Like we might never see each other ever again.
I was just about to ask you that. Like, do you keep in contact with the people that you meet, or is it a one time, thank you, ma'am, and we good?
For me personally, half the time I don't keep in contact with these people. I only the people that I typically keep in contact are like hosts.
Okay, well, obviously, yeah.
Right. But like I'm typically like friends with the host in some type of capacity. Like
Right.
we can key and be on the phone. But like
Right.
I've never made a friend with anyone like at a party. But I've seen people do it. Like people make friends.
Are you open to that or nah?
I am. I'm just not a very social person. You think I'm social? I'm really not. I'm really not
social with me.
Well, I like you. Come on now.
I mean, I am a likable person.
I guess.
So what kind of impact, if any, has attending sex parties had on your sexual preferences or desires?
See, I don't really like this question. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I feel like my preferences is what makes me go to the parties, not the other way around. Like I feel like I've always been into kink. Like I've always been into like BDSM stuff, like bondage. I'm very submissive, so I've always been into that. And I think because I've always been into that, I look for things that relate to those.
Right.
And parties came with that. So I've never went to a party and was like, oh, like now I'm suddenly interested in this thing. Like, no, I've always been interested, and now I'm at a party learning more about it. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. But I wonder, maybe. Apparently I turned a girl out at one of them. So like
she told
said,
you that?
Yeah, she was like, I've never been with a girl before. Like this is my first time. And then her best friend like confirmed it because her best friend was also there. And she was like, yeah, I've never seen her like
what you do?
I ain't do shit. I promise you I ain't do shit. That was one of the girls I was just talking to. Like I was just talking to her. And then she started kissing. She did not ask. I mean,
you didn't stop though.
I didn't stop. But she had me a little uncomfortable. She was aggressive. I'm like, miss.
Oh, she probably was nervous.
Maybe. But like I could also tell that she hadn't been with a girl before. Cause even like she like bit my vagina. It was not the greatest.
She bit it.
She did it.
Girl, you should have punched her.
I was like, it's okay.
Oh my God. I mean, she lying. I'm sorry. Anybody that's been with, if I feel like if this is your first time being with a girl, like I'm not eating boxing the first time.
Okay, that's you.
She lying. She been with a girl before.
I don't think so, because any girl would have told her, please don't ever bite. Like, I mean, actually, let me not say that because people have different preferences. Maybe there are people out there who like to be bit.
But the first time she was ready to go down?
Yes.
Child.
Yes. Oh my God. But and that wasn't even at a party. Like this was random. Like
you know what I wanted to ask you? Where are the parties at? Like is that people houses or clubs? Okay.
People. I believe I've never been to them, but I believe there's clubs in New York. I also know there's like houses dedicated to it in New York. Like I've heard of them and people have invited me. I just haven't gone yet. But and then some people have it in their houses or in their apartment. And some people rent out spaces. I like it when people rent out spaces because it's pretty. Like people like do it up. Like
Right.
those be the fancy ones when people rent out
I
spaces.
do want to go to a club. I just want to go and just see it because I feel like just from doing research and like talking to so many people and having so many different type of friends in my life, like I heard the clubs be like popping. And
Really?
not even
I
on like
heard the
some
same.
and not even on some sex shit. Like it just be a vibe there. Like it's really like a legit party.
Mm-hmm. No, I've heard the same. They be costing bread.
OD.
They be costing bread. That's why I don't be going. I'm
And if
like,
I'm
who
paying that
paying
much
for
money, I
this?
better bust a nut.
Yeah, and then some of them you need like memberships. I'm like, I don't got time for
That
this.
is, I heard that too. Facts.
Yeah, you need
Facts.
like a membership.
So do
Uh,
you have any type of boundaries? I know you said earlier that you don't, but you don't have no boundaries when you go into these clubs or parties,
just
should I say?
for my partner, you're saying like rules?
No, for you, like, do you have boundaries for yourself or
Well, what do you mean by a boundary?
like do you have any like are you pretty much open to anything or do you have like certain things that you wouldn't do? Like I know you're
Well,
not really interested in men.
so yeah, so that's one. Like I won't mess with a man, unless
Mhm.
I'm single, or unless I'm dating a woman at the time. But not really. It's really just the mood that I'm in for that night.
Right.
Because like I said, like I've gone and sometimes I don't participate in much, and then I've gone and we participate in a lot. So it
Right.
really depends on my mood.
Mm.
Yeah.
And what was the best night that you had at a party?
The best night, I was with my partner and we had
Hmm.
went and we met this girl. She's really pretty. She had a fat ass. I like
Hmm.
ass. I like titties too, but I
You
really
like
like ass.
body.
I like body. I do. I'm very
Yeah.
like visual,
Yeah,
and
you're a body
touchy.
girl.
So like body yaddy yaddy. So yeah, so this girl, she had her ass was fucking round and fat. And she had like nice titties and nice nipples and some
I almost
soft
said your
voluptuous
name,
lips.
child. I was about to be like, wow.
Anonymous, but
Like, wow, you sound like our friend.
I
straight,
really,
straight
I
up nigga.
really,
But go
no,
ahead.
it's funny because people don't be believing me. Like they be like, "You're not bi." I'm like, I might like women more than I like men. I
No,
was
I
like,
definitely think you like women more than men.
I think I do too.
I
Because
think when
men
it
don't
comes
really
to
be doing it for me.
family, it's all about your partner being a man. But when it comes to
Mhm.
like that intimacy and like the overall feeling and stuff and the attraction, it'd be women for you.
Yeah, I do. Like even when I'm out in the street, I rarely ever check out men. I'm always checking out women. Like, and
But
I'm
I
always
feel like
like,
women are pretty to look at though.
yeah, I mean, but I feel like straight women or like there's also some bisexual women. I feel like sometimes like they be looking at men. Like I've heard like my homegirls be like, "Oh, look at him, he's so fine. Look how he dressed," and I'm like, I look at her.
I ain't seen a
Look at
fine nigga yet.
really?
I haven't seen a fine nigga in so long.
Oh, maybe men are slacking out here.
Yeah. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of pretty women. I'm like, oh, that's a beautiful woman. Oh, she's mad pretty. But I have not seen a nigga when I'd be like, oh my God, that nigga is fine. Like, ooh,
Man, that's unfortunate.
yeah. You
You may
seen any
want to come
fine
to
men
the
out
other
here?
side. I haven't seen one in a while. At the last party I went to, I seen a fine one. He was fine. I was staring at him.
Yeah,
He
like I
came
have
with the Amazonian goddess. It was both of them. I was like, damn, y'all look like gods walking into the room. God.
not Zeus. Oh my God.
They look
Oh, okay.
good.
So the best night. So you saw
Best night.
Shorty.
Saw Shorty, da da da. She was interacting with my man at first or whatever. Like they was talking, they had started kissing or whatever.
Until a real nigga
Um,
pulled up.
yeah.
He was like, step aside, nigga.
So I come over all cutesy or whatever. Cause I wouldn't consider myself sexy. I'm very like cute, like and goofy. So I feel like that's another thing why people be comfortable around me because I'm just a goofball. So I go over, I'm like, oh, like, can I have some too or whatever? I said something corny. And then she was like, of course. And then she she did like the face palm, like you know when like they grab you by the side of the face and they pull you and she did it. She did it
I
to
know your
me.
panties were wet.
She did it to me. So we started kissing or whatever. Um, and so we had like some toys with us and like it was just a night. Like it was just I don't know, the energy was real good. Like
Hmm.
and she was just beautiful. So that was my best night.
Now, have you had any negative experiences? And if so, how did you handle it?
The most negative experience was I was at a party with my partner, and my partner, like me and him, were not in a good space.
Hmm.
So like, I kept looking at him, and I was just like disgusted. Like
As your
anything,
partner?
my partner, I was looking at him, and I was disgusted. So I didn't really have fun that night. And so I suggest, like, if you're in a bad space with your person, y'all should not go. Y'all
Right.
should not go because that shit, you gonna think like you can handle it and it's gonna be fine. But like, and granted, we've been to these things already. So it's not like, oh, I was uncomfortable with something happening. It was just because we were in a bad space. I was I wanted to fight the nigga. I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. Like
Ciao.
so that was like my worst night. But then there was another one. I guess it was just a funny night. Like we was having a threesome with a girl and he just couldn't get hard for her. But she
Mm.
was beautiful. Like the girl was beautiful. Like, and she
Mm.
didn't smell bad, nothing. She was beautiful. But like
Not
if
she didn't
I'm
smell bad.
like no, because you know, like sometimes you could be beautiful as fuck, but if you smell a little
I
funky,
mean,
then
yeah, when that twat is twatting,
right, like that might be
having
a
an
turn
off
off.
day. Yeah.
But he couldn't get hard like with her specifically, like because when he would like switch back over to me, like he would get aroused again, and then like he would try to like mess with her and like specifically with like penetration, like he just could not stay hard for her. So that was like I'm like, what's happening here? Like,
Right. Does he enjoy these parties?
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, because
Because
I
he
feel like
wasn't
y'all go to these a lot, or y'all been going to these for a certain amount of years, and especially with that situation, like you got two fine bitches in front of you, but that might be a lot though.
I definitely especially if you're not used to it, because I'm he calls me the quote unquote horny one. Like he's like, yo, you always want to do some shit. You always like doing all these sexual things. You always
That
want to
might
try
be
all these new
intimidating.
things. It might be, but he's never expressed that. Like he's never said those words like, oh, this is intimidating or
Right.
I'm not comfortable. He'll say stuff like, oh, like I don't need to go to these things. Like I do it like for you because I know you enjoy them. Um, but yeah, because he definitely like he's never like I was his first threesome. Like he's
Hmm.
never had a threesome before. So even with
Child,
that,
you
he was
turning
just
bitches in, niggas out, baby.
I don't know.
Child.
It's so interesting though, because that's something I would say. Like people to I want a threesome. I'd love to have two bitches and oh I could this and that. But like when you really put the pressure on these niggas, like when you really
Oh,
put them in the situation, they do not be
child,
performing. They
at
do
all.
not be performing. I'm like, oh, you was asking for this, right? Though you
That thing be
wanted,
real limp. Okay.
they can't, or they panic, or they just don't know what to do. They don't know. Oh,
So do
meanwhile,
you
bitches
think he
be
gonna
having
stop
fun.
going with you soon, or?
I don't know because I think he's more into it now.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Why you say that?
think he's more into. I don't know because not asking me. Because
Mm.
before it would be me asking him, like it would be like, oh, like you, like has any come up? Like has anyone hit you up? Now he's the one asking me, like, has anyone hit you up, or are you interested in going? So I feel like he's getting more. Um, and the last one we went to, he was like more on his own. Like he wasn't like I feel like before he would like stay kind of like near my hip, like he always wanted to be next to me, and now he's just like exploring. So I'm like, oh, okay, look at
Does that
you.
bother you?
No, I
Mm.
I just don't like. Don't leave me completely alone. Like
Right.
unless we have like a conversation like me if you dip off into a room to like have sex with someone that's fine but like at one time he like dipped off to like have a conversation with someone and left me alone and I'm just like really guy like
Right.
like what's wrong with you but that's just more so like I'm very much like I like being protected like I like
Right.
So it's just like, oh, you wasn't protecting me. Like you wasn't make sure you wasn't making. What if I got kidnapped? Like I'm mad
Ain't
dramatic.
nobody kidnapping you, child.
I'm mad dramatic. I'm mad dramatic. I'm like, someone could have put me in their trunk and you would not have known because you was not in the room. Or you would I wasn't in distance of eyesight.
That's something I would say. I'm mad dramatic. So wait, so do y'all have any rules as a couple, or is pretty much like he can just do what he wants?
He could do whatever he wants. I'm a watch, like I like to watch. I
Mm-hmm.
love to watch. So I actually prefer when he doesn't like this. This I will say he doesn't like. Because he always wants me involved. He's like, come here, like he'll be like, come here, like, and I'm just like, no, I just want to watch.
Like,
Like
go
I get
ahead,
off
boy,
on
do your
watching.
thing.
Yeah, like I want to see my person in action.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like seeing my person being pleased. Um, so what am I asking? What are you asking me? You asked me if our rules.
Yeah, are
I'm
there
like,
any
how we get
rules?
here? See, look, you got me.
Yeah, she reminiscing, child.
But rules, yeah. So I don't mess with men. He also wouldn't want me messing with a man.
Right.
What you gonna call it?
You
But
okay with him
he,
kissing a bitch?
yeah.
Okay. Because you know some people don't like their man kissing another woman because that's very intimate.
No, I don't mind. Like he's giving girls head in front of me. He's kissed girls. The real, I guess for me, the really only thing is you got to use a condom for penetration.
Does he like to use condoms for penetration
He,
with
I don't
other
know,
people?
because like I feel like he has more fun when we're dating someone, like when we have our own person, because he can fuck them raw. Like those girls, he can fuck raw.
Right.
I feel like he prefers that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't like the idea of you fucking somebody raw that you met tonight and we ain't never
Right.
speaking to them again. I don't like that. Just me personally.
Now you know you sound like a little hypocrite now.
I know, I know.
Cause
I,
you
I
be
be
yeah, yum yum yum.
yum. Yum. Yeah. Ebony is gonna find her a professional to come here and talk to y'all.
Yo, I'm crying.
I'm not a pro. Obviously, I am not the pro. Someone is gonna talk to y'all about safe sex is coming soon, okay?
Oh my god. Yeah. This bitch got the fucking nerve, y'all.
It's you crying for me.
Oh man, I'm crying. Oh
Oh my
man.
God.
Yeah. All right, man. Come on now.
Get it together. All right.
Now, do you think that attending these sex parties with your partner affected your relationship in any way?
When we were going to them like frequently, I feel like it made it better.
Oh wow.
I feel like it made it so much better because I feel like our communication wasn't always so great and it
Mm-hmm.
forced us to be better communicators. And we were also learning like more about like sex, like
Right.
what feels
Together.
good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about everybody, but for me, I wasn't really having those conversations. Like when I get into a relationship, I'm not really asking like, I mean, I guess like I'll ask like little stuff like, does this feel good? But I've never like, hey, like what area of your body do you like to touch or like even like paying attention to because a lot of it is like the sensual play where like you're really exploring people's bodies like and I'm also like learning from I guess that kind of relates to your question from earlier. Like I'm also
What?
learning like I'm learning from other women, like things that I take away from the parties.
Right.
Cause like I don't know, like I never like I'm goofy. So like I've given lap dances as a joke. Like let me
Mm-hmm.
randomly give you a lap dance while you're watching the game. But like these girls, like I love watching them. Love watching them. They look like strippers. Like they look like
Mm-hmm.
professional fucking dancers sometimes. Like the way that they was giving these lap dances and being so sensual. Um, so I picked that's something I learned from them. Like, oh, like that's not just something I could do when I'm being goofy and joking around. Like that's something I can
Oh,
use like a part. I've never done
everyday
that.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, like I never even thought of it. or even
Listen, I
like
know
the
how to
way
tap
that they
into my
look
sensual
touch.
side now if I want something. But I think this also just plays into with your charisma or just being witty or just being a woman, like just tapping into your womanly side and like, getting do what you gotta do to get what you want.
Girl, I started picking up so many different tips, like touching someone with like just the very tip of your nail
Mm-hmm.
and just going up and like that's not something like I used to do that with my finger, but like with the very edge of the tip of your nail works
Right.
wonders apparently. Like would I had never knew that.
I feel like if I'm like in a relationship and I like that's my nigga, like I feel like I try my best to like ask questions like what do you like? Like what turns you on? Like what can I do to make you more happier when it comes to, anything.
Oh, maybe I'm selfish because I wasn't doing that before attending these parties. Now I do. Like now when I meet
Really?
people before, no, I'm just you gonna get what you get. Because I also feel like I'm very confident in my sex game. Like I've never gotten
Same.
any
Mm-hmm.
complaints. So I'm just like, why am I asking you what feels good when everything I've done already feels
Right.
good? But
I think what's so funny? You make a good point because I'm the same way, but I feel like as I started to get older and started to understand the value in communication,
mhm,
that's when I started to do it because I didn't always do it because I always felt like I'm the gift nigga, like it don't get no better than this. But I
right,
feel like
that'd be
as
me.
right, but I feel like when you get older and you start to explore things and you become more not sexually active, but like more what's the word when you're like really into like exploring your sexuality. I feel like that's when I started to be like, oh, so what do you like or like what's your fantasy and stuff like that.
Maybe it's something that comes with age.
I think so. Because as you get
Maybe.
older, your body gets older, you start to want to do more things or you more exposed to different things or you be with different people and they like different things. So they introduce you to some things and get that thing
Thing,
hanging. But
get that thing in. Yeah. But I feel
yeah.
like something with the parties, they're showing both of us. Because like if he's not that experienced, because also, girl, I'm learning so much. Like men be thinking they're so experienced until they realize that they're not so experienced. Like just because you've had sex with multiple people does not mean that you're experienced. Like
Right.
it's the act of actually trying new things and being comfortable within your skin and being
And
like,
also knowing what that person like.
yes, and
Because
trust
everybody's
is a big
body is
thing.
yes, and trust for sure. Because if I fucks with you and I trust you, like we can do whatever. Like, because sex is supposed to be fun. Like, so, but I feel like when you don't have that communication and that trust, that's a dub.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I trust you, I don't know. We might have to go get a little test, a little pregnancy test. Because I'm having a good time.
I'm having a good time. I cannot.
But that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. Like, but this definitely involves trust and communication for sure.
The two biggest things. Two
Mm-hmm.
biggest things. Like you have to trust that your partner has your back, have
Yeah.
that they have your best intentions at heart. Like, and you guys need to communicate what's okay and what's not okay.
Right. So, how can someone find out about sex parties and what's the process for attending one?
So, man. So when I first started, like that very first one that we went to, like we didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know, right?
Right.
But now there's like all these different apps. So
I feel
I
like it's
know
so easy to find, right?
it's much easier to find now.
Right.
I'm actually trying to find the name of one of these apps. I can't remember the
Mm-mm, we ain't doing no free
name.
promo.
Oh, we're not doing free promo. Well, there's apps, y'all. Find the apps. Also regular dating apps, just put it in your profile, people will hit you up.
Right.
Like if you just put it in your bio.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, you could do it that way. And then when you actually go to one, you're gonna meet people. So
Mm-hmm.
again, networking. So
Just
if
putting
you do
yourself out there.
you're gonna find out. And then just being able to have like open, honest communication with people when you're out. Because like I said, I was in a whole nother country and whew, the things that transpired. But we was also having like open, candid communication and
Right.
conversations. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Conversation rule the nation.
Yes.
And what is your advice for maintaining privacy and discretion when attending sex parties?
Mm, so I know we for a long time we used fake names, but we stopped doing that. Because I'm gonna tell you why. at these things, everyone's kind of on the same page. Nobody wants their business all out there. A lot of us have like careers, like careers.
Right.
So like again, like phones do not be allowed. Like you can't take any pictures, you can't take videos. A lot of it is what happens here stays here. So people aren't saying like, oh, I seen Vanessa and George at a party and like people don't
Right.
do that. Like if you do have conversations about that, you're not mentioning names, you're not really mentioning the exact location and things of that
And
nature.
can you get banned if that was to happen?
Yeah, you can. Like, so if
Mm.
someone like, let's say you took a picture without someone's permission, whatever the case is, and
Child.
it like shows up, you will not be allowed. You will
Right.
not be, yeah, you're not invited to another party. But
Mm.
I've never in the 4 years, I've never seen that happen. Like it's never gotten out of hand where someone was trying to post something or tell people's business.
Mm.
Mhm.
And what is your advice that you would give to someone who's curious about attending their first sex party? Because when I put this up on my page on Instagram, when I tell you the DMs were crazy, everybody was super excited about this conversation.
Really?
I
Okay,
said it's giving
so
PXG after dark, child.
gotta be careful. You know, if you under
Yes.
the age of 18, be careful out here. But definitely no, have a conversation with yourself, right? Like really think about like what am I going to be comfortable with? What am I not going to be comfortable with? Definitely have open and candid communication with the host. Let them know what you're comfortable with and not comfortable with, because they'll put you in areas where you're going to feel the most comfortable, and they'll introduce you to people who's going to make sure that you feel comfortable. So let's say the first time that you attend, you just want to watch. Just make that known in the beginning of the night or tell the host beforehand. They'll make sure that that's all that happens. And if they see you participating in something, they're going to check on you. They're going to say, hey, I know you had said you just wanted to watch. Are you comfortable right now? And then, you can speak to them. You can also have like a code, like a little code word
Mhm.
beforehand that's made, just in case, like, because some people also, they're not, what's the word? They're easily influenced sometimes. Like they
Mhm.
have a hard time saying no. So those code words are helpful for that.
Or they don't
Um,
want to be the person that's saying no.
exactly. So it's helpful to like check the whole your host. The host is your best friend. The host is going to make sure that you're good.
Mhm.
So I definitely recommend that you get close with your host during your first party. And then, go there with open intentions, have fun. I also don't suggest that you do a bunch of drugs and get drunk. I don't suggest that. I think that you're your best when you're sober.
Right.
Especially when it's your first time. If you want to drink a little wine and get like a little tips, that's
Just to
fine.
relax your nerves.
Yeah, like if you want to get the buzz, that's fine. But I don't suggest you get drunk or incoherent, because I don't want anyone doing something and they wake up the next morning and they regret what happened, or they
Right.
feel that they was taken advantage of. So you want to be clear-minded. And then some of these parties, people do a lot of drugs and people's not really monitoring it. It's great
Mhm.
when they are, but sometimes they don't.
What type of drugs are they
Um,
doing?
um, it's a lot of weed. I've
Molly.
seen I've seen coke, I've seen Molly.
Mhm.
Um, I've seen someone taking perks before. Um,
Oh, a nigga not coming off no perks now.
right,
He fucking
right,
nonstop.
right. And then
Not
I've
that,
seen like people drinking a lot. Like
not
I've
that
seen
I
some,
know.
not that you know, girl. Ooh,
Right.
the tea.
Go ahead, sis.
No, that's it. That was it.
I
You
really
gave
don't know,
everybody.
y'all. Let me stop playing with y'all.
Nah, I was like, give these women a fair warning, and these men, give them a fair
Yeah,
warning.
listen. That's the whole purpose of these conversations, because you don't want to go into a situation blindly thinking you about to have a good time and you just like, what the fuck is going on? Because
Cause,
people do a lot of drugs at these, well, not at all these parties, but people like to have a good time.
yeah, and honestly, I haven't been to many parties where people were getting like OD high. Like
Right.
it's been a few. I have seen it, but not most of them. No, most of the
Right.
time, people are just smoking weed and cigars
Right. Having
and
a good
edibles.
time.
Like yeah, eating edibles.
Well, I think this was an amazing conversation. It was definitely fun. So,
Yes,
to my
had
guests, thank you so
crying.
much for being a part of the Professional Homegirl podcast. And to the listeners, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you want to say, hey, girl, hey, please make sure to email me at hello@thephgpodcast.com. And until next time, everyone, later.